Continue to experiment with your passions. Hello, everyone. My name is Tessa. Welcome to the Futurist Mindset Show with Fifth Avenue Capital and Reagan Rodriguez. Today I'm a little tongue-tied.
You're
Reagan
doing just fine. Yeah.
Reagan is a futurist that teaches stratosphere wealthy legacy families how to become impact investors. And today, I love this topic and I love the picture that we chose for this one,
So
but
did
we're
I.
going
Yeah.
to continue to experiment with your passion. So tell us more.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that warm introduction. So you guys will find that you have passions, and having a passion is a gift. I think we all have passions, and you don't get to choose them. They pick you, but
Mhm.
you have to be alert to them. You have to be looking for them. And when you find your passion, it is a fantastic gift for you because it gives you direction, it gives you purpose. You can have a job, you can have a career, or you can have a calling. And the best of all is to have a calling. And if you find that, then what you'll find is all of your work won't feel like work to you, right? Many people, they do figure out after time what their passions are. And sometimes we let I don't think it's that hard. What I think happens sometimes is we let our intellectual selves overrule those options. And so that's what needs to be guarded. Okay. One of my job as the leader at Fifth Avenue Capital is to encourage people to be bold. And people love to focus on things that aren't working. And that's good. It's human nature that discontent can be helpful. But it's incredibly hard to get people to take bold bets. You need to encourage that. And if you're going to take bold bets, they're going to be experiments. And if they're experiments, then you don't know ahead of time if they're going to work. Experiments, by their nature, are prone to failure. Big successes, a few big successes, compensate for dozens and dozens of things that didn't work. So I think of mistakes I've made in oil and gas deals, and all of those things are examples of bold bets that didn't work. And those that did work pay for those experiments. I have had millions of dollars of failures, literally millions of failures. And I'm giving an example of a lot of the waste energy projects as well. And it's painful, right? Those things aren't fun, but they also don't matter. What really matters is companies that don't continue to experiment, those that don't embrace failure, they eventually get in this desperate situation where the only thing they can do is they do a Hail Mary bet at the end of their corporate existence versus companies like, that are making bets all the time. Not bet the company bets. I don't believe in bet the company bets. That's when you're desperate. That's the last thing you can do. You can be out of work, by the way, and have terrible work-life balance, right? You may have all the time in the world, but you might feel like I'm miserable and I'm wasting energy. So you have to find that harmony. That's a better word when people ask me about time management, or it's about meaning. You want to know that you're doing something interesting and useful. And for us, because of the challenges that I have chosen for myself, I get to work in the future. And it's fun to work in the future for the right kind of person. You need to be new. You gotta be able to take a punch, and you also have to be able to be quick and innovative and move at a high speed. That is the best defense against the future. And you have to be leaning towards the future. If you're leaning away from the future, then the future is going to win every time. Don't lean away from the future. We all have adversity in our life. I doubt, Tessa, if you've ever known anyone or any friend or people that you talk to, there is no lack of adversity, right?
True.
And that's good. It really is, because it's what teaches us how to get back up. You fall down, you get back up. That's what happens. You get certain gifts in lives, take advantage of them. That's what I do. My advice on adversity and success would be to be proud, not of your gifts, but of your hard work and your choices. Your gift might be you're really good at math. That might be really easy to you. That's a gift that God's given you. So practicing that math and then taking it to the next step, that can be very challenging and hard. And it takes a lot of sweat. See, that's a choice. You cannot be proud of your gifts because God gave them to you. You can be grateful for them. You can be thankful for them. But your choices, you choose to work hard. You choose to do hard things. Those are choices that you can be proud of. Being an inventor requires to be a domain expert. And even if you're not at the beginning, you got to learn enough so that you become a domain expert. The danger is once you become that domain expert, you get trapped by that knowledge. So inventors have this paradoxical ability to have that 2,000 hours of practice, that domain expert, and have that beginner's mind, have that look at it freshly, although they know so much about the domain. And that's the key to inventing. You have to have both. And that's intentional. And all of us have that inside of us. We can all do it. We just have to be intentional about it. We have to say, I am going to become an expert, and I'm going to keep my beginner's mind. You cannot skip steps. You've got to put one foot in front of the other. Things take time. There are no shortcuts. And you want to do the steps with passion and veracity. It's easy to have ideas. It's very hard to turn that idea into a successful product. There's a lot of steps in between. It takes persistence, relentlessness. I say to people that want to be entrepreneurs, you need to have a combination of stubborn relentlessness and flexibility. And you have to know when to be which. You need to be stubborn on your vision because otherwise it'll be too easy to give up. But you need to be very flexible on the details because as you go along pursuing your vision, you'll realize that some of your preconceptions are wrong and you're going to have to change those things. So taking an idea successfully all the way to the market and turning it into a real product that improves people's lives, it's a lot of hard work. Don't try to chase what is the hot passion of the day. I think we saw this in 1998 and 99 with the internet e-commerce world where there was this certain peak through the whole internet media in 1999 that there were people that were very passionate about something. They left that career to do something else because it's almost like the 1849 gold rush. You'd find if you go back and study the history of 1849 gold rush, you will find that at that time, anyone that was in a shouting distance of California, they might have been a doctor and they stopped being a doctor and they began panning for gold. And that almost never works. And even if it does work, according to some metric of success, of financial, I'll suspect that it's going to leave you unsatisfied. Really. You have to be clear with yourself. And I think one of the best ways to do that, of projecting yourself forward and then looking back in your life that you've minimized the amount of regrets. That works for career, that works for family. So as an example, let's assume you have a son or a daughter that's young and think about yourself when you're 80. Don't you want to see that little guy or girl grow up? You don't want to be 80 and say, oh, I missed that whole thing and I don't have that relationship with my son or daughter that I wish I had. So when you think about that, another thing I would recommend is take a long-term point of view. I know there's something, it's controversial. There's this thing that people say, but I'm not one of them, that say you should live for the now, live for the moment. I don't. I think about the great expanse of time ahead of you, and I plan for that in a way that's going to make me ultimately satisfied. But again, that's just me. That's what works for me. Everybody has to find what it is for yourself. There are a lot of paths to satisfaction, and you need to find the one that works for you. What I just found is, like I said, I don't necessarily always kind of live for the present, and instead look for ways that we can improve. And it's just kind of part of setting the vision and what are the things you're going to do. So I think I've said enough on that. Tessa, I could kind of see your wheels were kind of churning as well. Let me know what are you thinking?
Yes, always. I mean, you always give me so many ideas. And well, I'm going to kind of work backwards because we just talked about projecting forward and kind of minimizing the number of regrets you have. I love that because that is the work-life balance piece, like you said. But a lot of people they don't think about how I'm going to feel in this, the regret feeling. I don't think I've ever looked at my future saying, hey, future me, which would be, honestly, it would be a great video for the internet because it'd be like, hey, future me, don't forget, wear sunblock or whatever that is, right? I don't want to have this condition or whatever that might be. But I love how you put that, project yourself forward and then minimize the number of regrets that you would have down the road, which you mentioned little ones. And I have a niece that I'm going to go see for that exact reason, saying I want to be able to have that relationship with her down the road. But I also hear what you're saying about the long-term point of view. Some people do really well with projecting they're looking at goals. I think that part of the reason why you do so well with projecting or thinking long-term point of view is because you are a futurist and you're thinking of like, how am I going to help the planet in the future? And some people, they live just day to day. And so the things that they're impacting are day to day things. But I love that you're so flexible. You can look ahead, but you can also look at what am I making choices on? The projects that you pick are very intentional to help get you to where you want to be financially down the road, but where you want the planet to be, which is amazing. How can I help with trees, help with everything, right? Gosh, there's so many things in there. I love that you said passion and veracity to get things done. So you have to be willing to do the work and invent when things need to be created and really use your gifts. I mean, I could go on for days and all the things that you just said, but I love your perspective and looking at these things. A lot of people don't take a moment to introspectively look at who they are and what they're doing in the world. And your videos always make me have I have to go a little deeper into who I am and what I'm doing, not just the business day to day, get things done, but who am I and how am I creating an environment with a team? How am I creating that leadership? How am I creating that impact? Of course, that's what you do. But I love all of what you said. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments as well. Anything else before we close?
No, I mean, I don't have a question for you today. I mean, I think that you've covered so much in today's, so I think we're good, but thank you so much. I know we have exciting things coming down the pipeline that you're going to start releasing more and more information about what you got going on, but we're keeping it a secret for now. So you all just make sure you follow, hit subscribe so you get notifications as we release our shows and more information. And of course, if you want to find out more or talk to Reagan directly, you can go to Fifth Avenue Capital website, which is in the post link. You can also get notifications by signing up on there. So we'll keep you posted. Thank you so much, Reagan. And thank you all for being here. We love having you here with us each week. Thanks. Have a great holiday because actually, no, we're not quite to the holiday yet. So that's good. He's like, we got one more week, Tessa. We're still out there.